Good morning, mathematicians. So today we're going to work on our division, and I'm just going to remind you of this traditional method that we've been using. So we're going to start with doing 4, and we're going to divide that by 248. And so one of the things about this way of doing long division is that we're kind of mixing up the numbers, and we're really not looking at the number as a whole. So we're just going to go through and I'm going to remind you of how to do this. So we're going to look at 4. How many times does that go into 2? Well, 4 doesn't go into 2. So now we're going to have to bump over to this 24. So I know that 4 goes into 24 6 times. So we're going to put the 6 right above the 4. And I'm going to say 4 times 6 is 24. And I'm just going to subtract that. And I'm going to get 0. And then I'm going to bring this 8 down right here. So now I'm going to say, how many times does 4 go into 8? And I know that 4 times 2 is 8. So we're going to, again, subtract that. We get a 0. All of our numbers are done, and we have 62 as our answer. So now, this 62 is our quotient, or the answer to our division problem. So now, we're going to use a way that is called partial products. And if you remember when we worked on our multiplication, a product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So now we're going to use multiplication to help us figure out our division. So now I'm going to draw this line a little extra far down, and I'm going to show you why here in just a second, why we're drawing this line a little bit farther down. So part of how we use this partial products way of long division is that we're going to use our numbers. We're going to instead look at the whole number rather than just bits and pieces of it. So now I'm going to try and figure out how many times does 4 go into the whole number of 248. And that seems kind of daunting, but what we're going to do is we're going to use what we know to figure out this big number, okay? So I'm going to just put a little X up here because I want you guys to remember that we're just going to multiply and we're going to put this number over on this side. So I know that 4 times 20 is 80. And we're going to write that right there. So we have some similar parts to our regular traditional way of long division. So now we're going to subtract. So 8 minus 0 is 8. We're going to have to regroup this, put a 1 right there, make this a 14. 14 minus 8 is 6, and we have a 1 minus 0 is 168. So now, again, I'm going to say 4 times 20 is 80. And we're just going to subtract that. So 8 minus 0 is 8. We're going to regroup this and turn this into a 0. 16 minus 8 is 8, and we're left with 88. So now I know again, look at, we've got this 20. I know that that's 80, and we're going to subtract again. 8 minus 0 is 8. 8 minus 8 leaves us with 0. And now I know that 4 times 2 is 8. We're going to subtract that. We're going to have 0 here. And now what I want us to do is we're going to add up all of these numbers, which are going to be like our factors. We're going to add all these up to figure out our final answer. So I have 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2. That's going to be 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus another 2 is 6. We have 62. We have no remainder, so 62. And look at that, we've got a matching number. So we got the same answer using two different methods. So we're just going to try another example to see how easy this can be for us to use. And you know, when I do the traditional way of long division, I can get confused sometimes about what order it goes in. So I really like this partial products, and I hope that you guys are going to like it too. So we're going to do another example. We're going to do 3 divided by 294. And we're going to do this in the traditional way again. So I'm going to say 3 goes into 2 how many times? And I'm going to say, oh, that can't happen. So now we're going to jump over to this 29. And I'm going to say 3 can go into 29 how many times? I know that 3 times, excuse me, that 3 times 9 is 27. And now we're going to subtract that. So 9 minus 7 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. And now I'm going to bring this 4 down, and I'm going to have 24. So now I'm going to ask myself, how many times does 3 go into 24? And I know that 3 times 8 equals 24. And we're going to subtract that, and we're going to get 0. And so our quotient for this problem is 98. I'm going to write that right up here. And now we're going to use this partial products again. And I'm going to show you that even if we don't remember the steps or how to make sure, or if we don't remember what order we're supposed to go in, we're going to use this partial products, and we're going to see if we can use our multiplication skills that I know you guys are so good at to help us figure out these division problems. Okay, so I know that we're going to add, we're make sure we put our little multiplication there so we remember. So I know that 3 times 60 equals 180. And so now we're just going to subtract that. We're going to say 4 minus 0 is 4, 9 minus 8 is 1, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So I have 114. So now I know that 3 times 30 is going to equal 90. And we're just going to subtract that again. 4 minus 0 is 4. And we're going to have to regroup this one. So we're going to turn that 1 into a 0. And we're going to make that 1 into an 11. 11 minus 9 is 2. And 0 minus 0 is 0. So now I'm going to say, I know what to multiply 3 by to get 24. And I'm going to multiply 8 times 3 to get 24. And I'm going to have 0 left over. Now I'm just going to add up all these factors on this side to figure out our answer. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 3 is 9. And that our answer is going to be 98. And it looks like we got a match right here. So today we're just working on this partial products and helping us figure out that we can use multiplication to help us figure out our division. And we're going to keep working on this in hopes to help us remember that multiplication and division are related.